Cuba, it's me, episode 28 of the W.I.L.L.I.W show, which stands for Wrestling is Life, Life is Wrestling. Now, if this is episode 28, then by my calculations, that's 4 weeks, 48 more weeks to go, and then we'll find out if it's sink or swim. Now, I didn't know what to do for today's show, but I had a couple of requests to name the top 10 favorite matches I ever wrestled in, and I love wrestling. I've been in a lot of matches, so it was really hard to narrow it down, but still, I'm gonna pick number 10, my first one. Yes, Bulldog Brandon Hines, you made the list with your shameless self-promotion. Me and Hacksaw Jim Duggan, last year, 2016, faced Reggie Marley and Brandon Hines, and I just loved it. Teaming up with Hacksaw was a great experience, but the real reason this match is on the list is the crowd was unlike anything I had ever heard. That night, the roof was rocking in the place. So that is my number 10. My number 9 match is in Elements, Kitchener, Ontario, 2006. It was myself versus Rip Impact, Josh Alexander, Michael Elgin, and Zach Gowen, the one-legged man. And I actually won the match for the internet title. Honestly, I've never seen this match. I don't recall how great it was. I mean, in my head, it felt like it was good, and I would love to see it, but it was just an honor to be in there with Elgin, Josh Alexander, Zach Gowen, and Rip. Just a lot of great talent in that match, and that was just a fond memory. I love name dropping, so just to say Zach Gowen is fantastic. My number 8 match would be in 2001 versus Rory McAllister of the Highlanders. This was the second match we ever wrestled against each other in like Elmer or Elmira, Ontario, something like that. And I don't have this match on tape either. I always wished I could see it. It was just everything seemed to click that night. We did a couple really tremendous moves, and that always had a near dear place in my heart. My number 7 match would be against Mike the Match Hart in Buffalo, New York, and he was then managed by his dad, Smith Hart, and I just remembered it was an honor to talk to Smith about that and just to soak up his knowledge, and everything went really well. He actually wrestled that match in a boxing ring, as the real ring did not get over the border, and I've always been close with Mike Hart, and to go out there and tear it up, we actually made like the front cover of the sports paper in Buffalo that night. So that was pretty cool. My number 6 match would be against Eddie Osborne in Nanaimo, British Columbia, I believe 2003, 2004, just for the fact that I got to wrestle in front of my friends that I grew up with, and everything seemed cool in the match too, but it was just like coming full circle. All the friends that knew that I had went Ontario to train, and I came back and they got to see me wrestle. So that's number 6. My number 5 match would be against Chris Thorne in like Frog Lake, Saskatchewan somewhere. We were on this tour. We had a couple matches. I was not happy with my performance. And then on the last night of the tour, we had an outstanding match that I never got to see this match either. I really wish I did. At that time, that was my favorite match that I had been in. Obviously not now, as that's only number 5. My number 4 favorite match was versus Sean Spears, who's now known as Ty Dillinger, 2005 for the internet title. And this match, I got knocked out. I didn't really remember the match. He totally just carried me through it, but we had always wanted to wrestle on a bigger stage and show what we can do, and to go out there and have a lot of great compliments told to us about that match. It was a great feeling, even though I wasn't able to perform to the best of my ability due to being knocked silly. So that's number 4. My number 3 would be against Ruffy Silverstein, 2015. I won the Pure Wrestling Championship from him that night. The crowd was great. Just being in with Ruffy is always a real challenge, and I was so happy that I was able to rise to the challenge that night, and it will always go down as a special moment for me. Number 2 would be me and Chris Canyon versus Cutthroat and Sin Bodhi in Newmarket, Ontario, 2006. I always loved Canyon. I always played as him in WCW vs. NWO on Nintendo 64. He always was the innovator of so many cool moves. I was a big mark for him, and I got to team up with him. It was just a surreal experience. We had he had a couple nice things to say, which really helped boost my confidence that match or that night or whatever. And then my number one match. I've had a lot of great matches against this guy, Suicide Sean Ball. But the first time we ever met one-on-one was March 3rd, 2007, I believe, in Elements Nightclub in Kitchener. Now, we did a lot of crazy ladder and table matches and stuff. This one wasn't. It was just like a pure cruiserweight match, and the timing was excellent in it. We executed some phenomenal moves, and that one I wish I could see too. I've never seen that match on tape. So, I thought, hey, I would do this top 10 Elian matches. I got asked about it. Now, for tomorrow's show, I posted, ask me your questions. Anything wrestling related, preferably anything with Ontario, BC, or WWE. Those are the things that I follow the closest. Ask me any question, and if I get a good enough response or enough questions, I will answer them on tomorrow's show. Also, I've been thinking of doing like some kind of top 10 rankings for Ontario wrestlers, but the only problem I have is I don't get to see all the shows, so I just go by what other people say. And also, how do you gauge who is the best wrestler? Is it the person that's working the most? Is it the person that's in the most main events? The person that gets the most titles? Is it the person that gets the best crowd reaction? The person who gets the most heel heat? The person who has the most praise from amongst the other wrestlers, their colleagues? So I'm thinking of doing this, but I just need to think of a proper way to do it where it's fair. So if you have any suggestions on that, shoot me a message. Because always, remember, on my videos, like, or you get a leg drop, comment, or you get a clothesline, subscribe, or you get a suplex. This has been episode 28, Elian's top 10 matches. I hope to bump a few off the list in the coming months when I start doing other matches and make even better memories. But for now, those are my top 10. Episode 28 of The W.I.L.L.I.W. Show. I'm your host, Elian Habanero. I love wrestling. Cuba!